Postmark Jamboree is brought to you in part by Postmark La Follette. Postmark La Follette is collaborating with the City of La Follette to turn the former post office, the Follette Post Office building, into an arts, culture, and history center for all to enjoy. The historic post office building is currently under renovation, and within the next few months we hope to be able to move back into the post office with the Postmark Jamboree. It's getting very close to being renovated. We can move back in. Maybe back in February, so pay attention to our social media pages on Facebook and Instagram, and find out where next month's show is going to be. Next month's show will be on February the 16th, third Saturday of the month. Now I'd like to welcome Kathy Conrad to the stage. She has some excellent information for us, a couple of poems, and a Mexican hot chocolate recipe that I would really like to try. How you doing, Kathy? Tried this Mexican hot chocolate?
Haven't yet.
Mm.
But I think I'm going to
Sounds a little dangerous then.
Yeah.
Take it away.
All right, so I have a few poems to share with you all. The first one that I want to share with you is called Winter in the Country. When the winds turn blustering and chilly, indoors round the wood stove, Bible stories and family ties abound. Winter's quiet and soulful reflection carries forward with thoughts of chores and fresh starts come spring. But for now, the cozy quilt and stew a-bubbling atop the stove will suffice.
I don't know, did you mention you wrote that? Did you? I don't.
did.
You did, okay. I just want to make sure everybody knew that.
And I also wrote this one, and this is called Mist Dancing. Mountain paths less taken, early morn rays of sun, warmth against the chill. And among the mist, the thrill of dancing to the sounds that are never the same twice. The song set to the beat of your heart. And then I have one that I've written is called Looking Forward. Crystalline wonderland, pure crisp air, hibernating, anticipating, reaching, hoping, glowing. Cold and death have no hold. Breezes grow warm, and life made anew, and by His grace goes on. And what Tony was telling me about, I do have a recipe for Mexican hot chocolate. So if you've wanted a little twist on something that'll be very warm and comforting, this is really good.
Oh, so you don't have to go to Mexico to actually do
No,
this?
you don't have to go to Mexico, and it's really easy. You just start with a package of hot chocolate mix pre-made, and then you add a tablespoon of chocolate syrup, a half a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, a pinch of chili powder to taste, so it might get more spicy than others. You mix in a large mug, the dry mix, and then add warm milk and enjoy. And there you go.
We'll have to give that a try. Thank you, Kathy. This next trip we've got coming up here, Eddie Sweat and Thunder Creek. Where's this Thunder Creek name come from?
I seen it on a sign somewhere in my traffic. It just kind of stuck. I figured it is as good as any.
It's a good one. I know band names are really strange sometimes, and sometimes they're entertaining. They should be like these website names. You should be able to reserve them and then sell them to somebody if they really want one band for a lot of money.
Copyright.
Eddie, you're from this area. You still live around here?
Yes, sir. I live in Jacksboro. I was
Jacksboro.
born in La Follette, in Jacksboro. Born and raised right here.
Moved to the big city.
Yeah. Moving on up.
Let's give a nice postmark welcome to Eddie Sweat at 3rd Degree.
Do an old bluegrass traditional song here called "You Can Have It." You can have her, I don't want her. She didn't love me anyway. She only wanted someone to play with, and all I wanted was the
some food available over here in the kitchen area. Drinks and snack cakes are now available, and we're cooking up some chili and cheese sandwiches right now. So if you want a snack or something to eat, just run right over there, and Rhonda will help you out. Eddie, how about introducing these fellas?
All right, I'll do that right now. Right here on my left side from up in Scott County, up around Oneida. He's been picking with me since he was a young boy. He's still a young man, but I guess he's about 15 years old when he first started picking with me. And his name's Jonathan O'Neill. Down here on my far right, also from up in Scott County, he's from over in Robbins. He's the pride of Robbins, Tennessee. And we're really honored to have him picking with us. He's one heck of an instrumentalist, and he can play just anything you can think of. And his name is Randy Terry. Back behind me here, the Scourge of Wartburg, Tennessee. We've been picking for, I guess, 10 years or longer. And he's a good friend of mine, and his name is Mr. David Howard. I'm Andy Swift, collected lead for Thunder Creek. We're going to do a song that was on a new CD that I had put out, and we've got some CDs out there for you all. The new CD that we put out last year, we've sold out of it, but you can still download it on Spotify and Amazon and all that stuff if you want to get it. This is called Magnolia Wind. I'd rather sleep in a box like a bum on the street, and a fine feather bed at your little cold feet. I'd rather go dead, dumb and stone blind, than to know that your mornings will never be mine. I'd rather not walk through the garden again if I can't catch your scent on the magnolia wind. That it comes time to go, just pack up your fiddle, just pack up your bow. 'Cause if I can't dance with you, then I won't dance at all. I'll just sit this one out with my back to the wall. I'd rather not hear pretty music again if I can't hear your fiddle on the magnolia wind. I'd rather die young and live without you. I'd rather go hungry and to eat lonesome know you win. If I can't hear your fiddle on the magnolia wind. Thank y'all.
We got time for a couple more, but I wanted to make sure everybody knew where your CDs were. They're out here in the lobby, and they are for sale tonight. If you have an urge to take these fellas home with you in a small box instead of as they are.
Yeah, buy lots of them. All right, we're gonna do another one. Okay. We're gonna do you another traditional song here called "Old Home Place." Fast one. Sitting on top of the squirrel. Sitting on top of the world. Sorry about that. Y'all know the words for this one? Feel free to sing along.
What's the difference between when you cut up an onion and you cut up a banjo? Nobody cries when you cut up a banjo.
Go ahead. Was in the spring come to Wildwood last time it was like, good to see you. You too, buddy. Good to see you.
Tonight's You Be the Sleuth is brought to you by Ted's Nearly New Treasures. It's the early 1920s somewhere out west. Telephones and dependable mail service had made wide open prairie a little smaller, but cattle was still king. The monthly Cattlemen's Association dinner is underway at the Circle Bar Ranch. The president of the association, Charles Smith, owner of the Circle Bar, is chatting with his wife and overseeing the dinner.
Grace, looks like you've been throwing another wonderful dinner. I think everyone's having a good time.
Well, thank you, sweetie. Everyone does seem to be enjoying themselves.
This apple pie is wonderful. I wonder.
Charles, look over there at Mr. Allen. He doesn't look quite right.
Looks like Edgar's going to fall asleep in the middle of the meal. Excuse me. I think I'll go speak to him and wake him up. He's not been feeling well recently, and I'd hate to embarrass him by falling asleep in front of everyone. You don't look like you're enjoying your meal very much, Edgar. You all right, Edgar? Edgar, wake up. Someone help over here. I don't think he's breathing very well.
Evening, Charles. Evening, Mrs. Smith.
Howdy, Sheriff Loomis. Howdy, Deputy. I'm glad you two were nearby to get here in a timely manner.
It's just been awful, Sheriff Smith.
I'm sorry you all had to experience this tonight, Miss Smith.
I was surprised to see Rowdy bringing you all in so quick, Sheriff.
Yes, it was lucky that we ran into your hand, Rowdy, out on the old wagon trail just south of your place. We were on our way back to town from a trip over to the county seat for the Watkins trial. So what's going on, Charles? Rowdy said something about a death.
Well, Sheriff, looks like Edgar Allen just passed up and passed away in the middle of the dinner. Strangest thing, he seemed all right earlier this evening. He's still at his table across the hall in the dining room. We hadn't had time to move him yet.
Well, that's fine, Charles. It's better if we get a look at him before he's moved anyhow. Is everyone that was at the dinner still here at the ranch?
Yes, we moved everyone out of the dining room and over here into the living room. Poor Edgar's wife, Mrs. Allen, that's her over there in the blue dress. She's holding up pretty well considering what she just happened.
Well, Charles, dear, maybe she was expecting something like this. Edgar's not been well recently, you know, health-wise. And I have heard talk amongst the ladies, not that we gossip, Sheriff, but I have heard talk that Allens were having some marital problems. And you know, things like that can take a toll on one person. Not that I put too much stock in that kind of talk. Why, just tonight I saw that Mrs. Allen had brought poor Edgar's very own salad dressing, just for him. I thought to myself, how thoughtful, when I saw her putting it on his salad just before he sat down to eat. Poor Mr. Allen.
Well, Charles, Miss Smith, please make everyone as comfortable as you can. This may take a little while. Deputy Turner and I will go examine Mr. Allen.
Poor guy. Looks like he had a peaceful death. What do you think, Sheriff? Heart attack? Poor guy. Looks like he never made it to the stake. Looks like he had his hands and he was still eating his greens. Strong smelling salad dressing. Smells like an oil and vinegar dressing with some punch to it. Must have been his wife's special blend. Fork still in his hand. Poor guy.
So I see. Come on, Turner, let's go talk to the wife. Excuse me, Mrs. Allen. I hate to bother you, but could you tell me what happened?
I suppose so, Sheriff. It was so shocking. I don't know what to say.
Well, could you tell me what Mr. Allen ate tonight?
Well, I was across the room talking to Mrs. Dale, I was kind of keeping my eye on Edgar from over there. You know, he's not been in the best health recently, Sheriff. Edgar, he had some coffee, and he was just getting started on his meal when he just seemed to fall asleep. It was just awful, Sheriff, just awful.
Well, I know this is hard on you, Mrs. Allen, but I just have a few more questions. I know cattlemen are usually hearty, meat and potatoes kind of eaters, but did your husband usually eat a salad?
Well, yes, you see, he's been having some health issues for a while, and the doctor told him to eat more greens, but I don't see how this could mean anything. I guess his heart finally gave out. Is that what it looks like, Sheriff?
Just routine questions, Mrs. Allen. Did Mr. Allen say anything about feeling unwell today?
No, he just seemed to fall asleep while eating.
Mm-hmm.
And then I tried to wake him. I suppose he's had a heart attack. Is that what it looks like to you, Sheriff? A heart attack?
Yeah. Well, that'll be all for now, Mrs. Allen.
Thank you, Sheriff.
You notice anything odd about Allen's table, Turner?
No, I can't say it did.
I didn't see any oil and vinegar dressing on his table or at the salad table. All I saw was some mayo and hot sauce. Well, let's take a look in the kitchen.
Dirty dishes. Doesn't look like anyone has washed anything yet.
Look in the dish drainer. Small glass pitcher with a label on it. Check it out, Turner. I'll bet that label says Mrs. Allen.
Wow, Sheriff. How did you know?
Grab that for evidence. Then go back out to Allen's table and collect the remains of his salad and his fork. Dump the rest of that salad into one of those mason jars and close it with a lid. We'll take it back to Doc Edwards and give it to him to have a look. I think there's something more here than just oil and vinegar. Best not to touch the salad, and don't clean the fork. Take a closer look at that fork this time, Turner. You'll see that those tines are badly tarnished. I'm going to go step into the den and make a quick phone call to town. And then I think you and I need to have a talk with Mrs. Allen again. Ms. Allen?
Yes, Sheriff Loomis.
Oh, I'm sorry to bother you again, Ms. Allen, but you'll have to come to town with me.
Why? I don't understand.
I think you do, Mrs. Allen, all too well. You see, you're under arrest for the murder of your husband.
Now it's time for you to be the sleuth. Do you think you know why Sheriff Loomis has accused Mrs. Allen of murder? In a moment we'll find out, but first a word from our sponsor, Ted's Nearly New Treasures. Tonight's show is brought to you in part by Ted's Nearly New Treasures. Why, it's like they're almost brand new.
At Ted's Nearly New Treasures, you'll find a wide selection of slightly used, somewhat used, sort of used, mostly good, kind of bad, and pretty much ugly treasures that someone probably should have tossed out long ago, but just couldn't bring themselves to do it. It's January, and brrr, it's cold outside. So come on over to Ted's Nearly New Treasures and pick up a set of nearly new long johns. Yes, just in time for the cold days and nights of winter. You can save big by picking up a set of nearly new long johns from Ted's Nearly New Treasures. All of Ted's slightly used, somewhat used, sort of used, mostly good, kind of bad, and pretty much ugly long johns come pre-stretched, pre-worn, and mostly pre-washed in a somewhat sealed brown paper bag that mostly guarantees no unexpected aromas. So come on over to Ted's Nearly New Treasures and pick out a pair today. Old Man Winter won't wait, and neither should you.
All sales are as is and final. Ted's Nearly New Treasures is not responsible for any sickness, disease, embarrassment, or unexpected aromas that may result from the use of this product. Ted's Nearly New Treasures is not licensed, not bonded, and not responsible for your lack of judgment. And now, back to your story.
Sheriff Loomis, you were right. The fork was tarnished pretty bad. But how did you know it was murder?
Well, looks like Mrs. Allen was careful to wash the dressing pitcher she brought, and no doubt she thought the salad bowl and fork would also be washed before anyone would suspect anything.
Poison?
Yes. We'll know more after the dog looks at the evidence, but I'm thinking his salad dressing had hydrofluoric acid in it.
Hydrophoric, what?
Turner, I've been telling you that you should read the Chicago Police Journal that we get in the mail. You can learn all sorts of interesting facts. Like that hydrofluoric acid is a poison that smells like vinegar, leaves the victim dead from what looks like a heart attack. That phone call I made was to check with the Allen's lawyer about his will and any insurance policies he may have had. Besides his ranch, that Mr. Allen had a nice insurance policy taken out only 2 months ago, destined to go to Mrs. Allen. Too bad for her that acid tarnishes silverware so quickly. It's always the details that get them, right, Deputy?
Yeah, crooks. They always think they can get away with it. You know, I think I'll start reading that journal each month.
That brings us to the end of our first hour of the Postmark Jamboree. Stay right where you are for our second hour coming right up. We'll go right into our second hour here at the Postmark Jamboree. Welcome to the second hour of the Postmark Jamboree, brought to you by the Postmark La Follette in conjunction with WLAF Radio. Tonight's show is brought to you in part by Ted's Yearly New Treasures and Cat, the dog food for cats. Did you ever notice how your cat cannot stay away from your dog's food bowl?
George, honey, Fluffy's not eating her cat food again. Do you think she's ill?
Ah, she's fine, Madge. She was in the kitchen just a minute ago eating from Goliath's bowl. I think she'd rather eat the dog's food than that expensive cat food you buy for her.
Did you ever wonder if your cat knows something you don't? I mean, besides the secrets of teleportation and interdimensional time travel, just what temptation does that cat see in the dog's food bowl that you can't see? Wait, don't get down on your hands and knees and taste it for yourself. Just get yourself Cat, the dog food for cats. Your cat will love it. No more finicky. Genuine dog food smells and textures and an imitation dog food so that your cat can't tell the difference. That's Cat, the dog food for cats. Just look for it in the pet food aisle at your favorite store. Remember, look for the imitation dog food can in the cat food section. Careful, it might fool even you. And now let's welcome to the Postmark Jamboree a fine young singer and songwriter, Jeremy McCrary. Where is Jeremy?
Right here.
There he comes, ladies and gentlemen. If you know anything about Jeremy, you know he's a fine singer. He lives right here locally. I believe he goes to church here locally. And he's not married yet if you young ladies are looking for somebody.
Oh, not yet. Doesn't matter which,
It doesn't matter. I guess that was fine for you. Let's give a big hand for Jeremy McCrary. He's going to do this really good.
You gotta enjoy this weather, right? It's good weather. Good weather outside. I like it. Well, I wrote a song to help me through these days because I don't like rainy days. They're boring. So this song right here I wrote back when I was 16. So hopefully you enjoy it. Well, you know I love the small town, but I've got to get out for a while. I want to feel the sand under my toes, smell the salt in my nose at daylight. That's right. I don't need any aggravation, and my only destination is to get on that shoreline. And if you agree with me, grab your bags and come with me, and we'll be down there by now. Talking about a week or two, or maybe even 3. We can play our favorite songs, or maybe walk along the beach. Don't gotta worry about my night, and it feels kinda nice. That's why I call it a no-cares paradise. Well, we finally made it down, and I just have to say, it's just like I imagined. I got the sand under my toes, the smell of salt in my nose, and it smells just fine. I don't have any dedication, looking back at situations, we'll just leave them all behind. And if you agree with me, grab a glass and spark your tea, and we'll relax here for a while. I'm talking about a week or two, maybe even 3. We can play our favorite songs or maybe walk along the beach. Don't gotta worry about my life, and it feels kinda nice. That's why I call it a no-cares paradise. Now there's no place I'd rather be when you're right here beside of me. That's why I call it a no-cares paradise.
One song, he's just teasing us. I tried to get more out of him this time, but he's a busy man with school, and I just had time to get one ready for us. But we'll get him back maybe even next month. 50 years ago, let's look back in time for just a brief minute here while we get set up for our next act. 50 years ago this month, Richard Nixon was sworn in as the 37th President of the United States of America with Spiro T. Agnew as his Vice President. Meanwhile, in Campbell County, State Representative Haskell Hack Ayers left home for Nashville to attend the 86th General Assembly. A few weeks later, he would serve on the House Calendar Committee, which was the gatekeeper for all legislation to pass through before being considered on the floor. 50 years ago this month, in Spokane, Washington, the average snowfall was only average until January the 10th, when the snow really started. Almost 49 inches fell by the end of the month of January 1969. Meanwhile, in Campbell County, the new editor of the La Follette Press, Larry K. Smith, stated in a publisher's letter in the press that, quote, "Although my teeth are still chattering from the brisk temperatures, I know from the warmth of your welcome that my family and I will enjoy living in La Follette and Campbell County." 50 years ago this month, NASA was still celebrating their successful flight of Apollo 8 to circle the moon. Meanwhile, in Campbell County, Coolidge School was suffering with a dry water well, and a plan was implemented to have the city water installed to the Coolidge community if 40 residents would sign up. As of the printing of the January 14th La Follette Press, enough residents had signed up, and plans were underway to extend city water into the community. 50 years ago this month, the average annual income for United States workers was roughly $7,500. The average income for Tennessee households was around $6,000 per year. Meanwhile, in Campbell County, Shelby's Grocery in downtown La Follette had grade A fryers at 29 cents a pound and smoked ham for 35 cents a pound. And the Globe Rexall Pharmacy advertised toothbrushes at 4 for $1 and triple action cough syrup, 4 ounces for 69 cents. That was a little bit expensive, but I wonder what was actually in there. Claiborne Motors was offering the top-of-the-line Oldsmobile Delta 88 Royale with all standard equipment from the factory for a whopping $3,912, 50 years ago this month. Things have certainly changed around here. I got this information from the La Follette Press archives, which are housed in La Follette at the Historical Society. So if you're interested and you want to go back and look up some information about you, your family, or the past, that's a good place to do it. The La Follette Historical Society. And now we're welcoming back Rick Long and his friends, Rudy and Terry, and we'll turn it back over to you guys. Let's give them a big postmark welcome.
All right, we got one called Cold Frosty Morn, and I think in the morning that's what it's supposed to be. play, and it was written by a guy in our club, or one of the founders of the Knoxville Area Delta Club. And her name is June Goforth. And she's still playing strong, and she's in her early 80s. We're going to play this with her.
Everybody loves you.
Yep.
the name of that kid. And next are a medley of two tunes, Eileen O'Carroll and South Wind.
We got time for about one more. We appreciate y'all coming out and being with us on the Postmark Jamboree. We'll definitely get y'all to come back again. Give them another nice hand. Postmark Jamboree is brought to you in a collaborative effort between Postmark La Follette and WLAF Radio. The Postmark Jamboree will be back here again on February the 16th unless we happen to be in the post office. So make plans to attend or tune in. Follow Postmark La Follette and Postmark Jamboree on social media for upcoming event information details. At this time, we want to call the Roberts sisters up to the stage. These young ladies have been with us more than any other group, more times than any other group. They're always a bright spot to our show. Started in that song, tell us what your name is. Just tell everybody what your name is.
Anaya Roberts.
Anaya Roberts. Go ahead and start the music, maestro.
I
switch sisters here. Come on. If you've never seen them before, they do some really pretty duets also. But tonight they decided to go solo. So tell them your name.
My name is Ayana Roberts.
microphone right here. So tell everybody what your name is first. Aaliyah Roberts. Aaliyah likes to ask intriguing questions sometimes for us. What questions you got for us tonight?
What's It's white, black, and red all over.
White, black, and red all over. Anybody got a clue?
A sunburned zebra.
You thought you had it. Didn't know it?
What does TikTok wolf?
Tick-tock wolf. Ooh. Anybody got an idea for that one?
Nope.
Nope.
A watchdog.
A watchdog.
Why are frogs always so happy?
Why are frogs always so happy? It's not because they eat flies. Certainly not.
Because they eat whatever bugs them. Why did the scarecrow get a raise? Why?
Do you have a heckler out there? Would be your sister, would it? Why did the scarecrow get a raise? That's a good question.
Because he was outstanding in his field. I wondered why the frisbee was getting bigger. Then it hit me. Have you guys heard the joke about butter?
No.
No.
I better not tell you, it might spread.
Thank you. Well, let's get the microphones pointed back up in the sky and get this big bluegrass band back out here in just a few minutes. And while we're waiting for that, let's let Special Delivery play us a little bit of tune here for a minute or so.
go out and have a good time. It's your last night of fun. 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, then a quarter till 2. I'm still burning the midnight oil, waiting up for you. Anybody in here like Buck Owens? Buck Owens fan? We recorded this one on our new one. We're going to try to do it for you. This is called Love Don't Live Here. Let the banjo man too. That's right. We really appreciate y'all sticking around and listening to us. I wish I could see you, but these lights are so bright, I can't see nobody out there. I know you're there. We can hear you.
1, 2, 3.
Love's gonna live here. Love's gonna live here again. No more loneliness, only happiness. Love's gonna live here again. I hear bells are ringing, I hear birds are singing. Love's gonna live here again. I hear bees are humming and I know the days are coming. Love's gonna live here again. Love's gonna live here. Love's gonna live here. Love's gonna live here again. No more loneliness, only happiness. Love's gonna live here again. Love's gonna live here. Love's gonna live here. Love's gonna live here again. No more loneliness, only happiness. Love's gonna live here again. Love's gonna live here again. Well, the bluegrass set wouldn't be right without a murder song.
We almost murder in song number one.
Yeah, she almost got murdered in song number one, but she got run over by a car before he could get to her. This one here is a little different. This one's called Banks of the Ohio. I asked my love to take a walk, just to walk
fellas got another short one for us, a quick one, we'll let us squeeze one more in here. Oh, that's a good one.
Everybody sing along with us on this gospel tune. Here we'll do all the live way. Okay? Well, some glad morning when it's like it's all down my way to a home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. Jonathan O'Neill on the mantle. Well, just a few more weary days and then I'll fly away to a home where joy shall never end. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. Lady Terry on the banjo. David Howard back here on the bass. When the shadow comes, I have roamed, I'll fly away. I gave her from prison bars to stone. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away. When I die, hallelujah, by and by, I'll fly away.
That's all we have time for this evening at the Postmark Jamboree. We thank you for joining our live audience tonight, and Comcast Channel 12 on Thursday for the broadcast. Be sure to join us again next month on the third Saturday of the month, February 16th at 7 p.m. for our next show here at the West Follet Community Center in Follet, Tennessee. All of us here at the Postmark Jamboree would like to thank our sponsors, Postmark Follet, WLAFM 1450, the Tennessee Arts Commission, the City of Follet, Community Trust Bank, United Company Bank, and Tennessee State Senator Kenny Yeager. Thanks to you, Rick Long and friends.